Thank you for joining another week of Lunch Break Learning with Coach Shaquan. We are here today. Our topic is, are you full of, I don't know, do we say S-H-I-T or do we just go ahead and say, are you full of shit? I'm going to go with the latter. Are you full of shit? That is what we're talking about today. And I am so excited that you have made the choice to join me. So my name is Coach Shaquan. For those that may not be familiar with me, I study how people communicate, connect, and show up in personal and professional relationships. And as a certified relationship coach, I use what I've learned and use relationships as a way of helping people to build healthy relationships with themselves so that they can then show up most authentically, I say, in the bedroom, boardroom, and everywhere in between. And so lunch break learning is a concept for me to come with you all live, or if you're catching the recording, hey, that take a break from work to work on yourself. A lot of times I hear people, I want to work on me. I got to work on me. What you doing? Okay, let me help you, give you some self-awareness strategies and some mindset tools to really help you progress in the journey and the evolution of really understanding the difference between who you were, who you are, and who you were created to be. So again, our topic today is, are you full of shit? Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to teach and to talk about because it goes in connection with my framework, which is check your BS. And BS stands for belief system, or whatever has you stuck in a pattern of thinking or way of doing that doesn't allow you to reach your goals or move forward or to let go of something or someone. And so in the mix of creating this framework and working with clients and going through the process of really defining my own self, it dropped in my spirit one day. It's been at least, at the time of this recording, 8, 9 years. Um, and it said, "Oh, you full of shit." I was like, "Wait, what? Wait, what?" And so I started to break this thing down, and I'm like, "Well, what does that really mean?" So let's get into it, because I'm an acronyms girl, if you don't know. Acronyms help me to learn and it helped me to remember, and it's what and how I communicate with clients to really help them to hone in on this skill of being able to again define who you are, what you do, who you serve, and why. And so when we break this thing down, our S stands for shame. Okay, grab your pens, grab your paper, take notes, or go back and listen to this recording. Shame. Are you full of shame? Okay, let me just start off with this. Write this down. Shame will isolate you. Okay, shame will isolate you. And so, by definition, and I'm reading these here, shame is this deeply rooted feeling of being flawed or unworthy, often linked, here's the key, often linked to past experiences or some type of expectation from somewhere else. Okay. Shame is this deeply rooted feeling of being flawed or unworthy, feeling bad. So you can even think of things of not good enough, not smart enough, not enough of something. And these thoughts and these feelings that are deeply rooted usually come from past experiences. So as we go along in lunch break learning, I encourage you to write down questions or come up with, or I'll give you journal prompts. And so the first one, we're going to get right into it. When is the first time you remember feeling shame? Okay. So think about and go back. I often speak of this, uh, my first awareness, right after I began doing this work about 10, 12 years ago, of really realizing where my shit came from, right? Was going back to being 5 years old. So your journal prompt is, when is the first time, and think about what age or what was happening around you that made you recall feeling uh, flawed or unworthy? What past experiences? And again, if you know anything about me, one thing you can say is that I am full of truth and transparency. Even as I have gone through the process and really pinpointing those places of where shame began to show up for me and how they've impacted me, relationships. I met some guys before, and the ways that I didn't advocate for myself or that I gave myself away were very shameful, and it showed up in the next relationship and the next relationship and the next relationship and eventually into my marriage. And so really identifying the shame that had me stuck was part of the healing process of being able to show up authentically and really be accountable for the things that happened in the past without being attached to the outcome of what happened. Okay. So let me say that again. For me, the healing process of shame happened when I was accountable for what I did, yet not attached to the outcome. Okay. I'm going to give you all, this is off the cuff. I did not plan to say this. It just dropped in my spirit. Again, acronym girl. Part of the process for me in being able to not be held hostage to the experiences that brought me shame or brought me, and I'll go through the rest of the acronyms here, but brought me and made me full of shit, was this concept called NATO, NATTO, not attached to the outcome. Okay. Learning how to NATO really helped me to release myself from some of those experiences, again, that I felt very shameful for, unworthy, flawed, embarrassed, right? Think of all of the feelings that come along. And when we talk about feelings, we say feelings are inward. So think about the things that are internally that are happening in you, those feelings that really make you feel shame. And remember, shame will isolate you. So, okay, coach, what does that mean? Well, when we're feeling unworthy, when we're feeling inadequate, when we are avoiding the place of being vulnerable, we begin to hide our true self, right? Really hide the truth of who we are, who we were created to be, the authentic parts of ourselves, we begin to hide. And so when you begin to isolate, okay, if you've been following me again, I talk about being in the box. The box is this dark place that we go when we're at the lower levels of our energy being defined by two types. The one that I'm going to speak about now is called catabolic energy. So catabolic energy being draining, destructive, and fear-based. When we are in the box, we isolate, and then we're stuck with all of this catabolic energy that keeps us really isolated, and the shame begins to grow. And so now you feel like a failure and you feel like people are judging you, and you begin to experience low levels of self-esteem. This is where your anxiety and your depressions, and let's be clear, if you have not been medically and professionally diagnosed with depression, can we stop tossing that word around, please? And thank you, right? Why claim something that does not belong to you? You can feel down, you can feel sad, if you really are feeling that it is a consistent feeling for you, and you are unable to function and move forward, I encourage you to go seek professional help. Get a professional diagnosis. Don't just be dropping them words around because it's a buzzword. Say, oh, I'm depressed. Really? Right? Thoughts create feelings, feelings create emotions, emotions create actions. I have someone in the break room that says, amen. Let us be mindful of the words that we're using and the things that we're saying about ourselves, because that is an indicator that you may be in the box and that you are probably full of shit, starting with your shame. Okay. So let's go on to our H. Our H stands for hurt. Okay. Our H stands for hurt. I like to say, let me go back. So y'all know how people say, hurt people, or what is it? Hurt people hurt. What did I say? Hurt people hurt people. Is that what it is? Right? And say hurt people hurt people. So they go out and they do things, right? Okay, thank you, the break room, because they keep me together. Thank y'all, right? So hurt people hurt people. I like to say that hurt people hurt themselves. So we always look at what an individual is doing to someone else, and we don't really pull back and see, how is that impacting me? So when we talk about hurt, by definition, hurt is an emotional pain caused by past experiences that often lead to like this lingering wound, or it's a pain, right? Because we talk about being hurt. It's this feeling, and it's an emotional pain from past experiences. Someone did something to you, right, that impacted you in a way that took you to the box, that made you feel very catabolic, draining, destructive, and fear-based in your thought action pattern. And so, yes, hurt people hurt people, hurt people hurt themselves. Okay. So, how do you look at hurt? Well, you can hold on to grudges, you can feel resentful, right? You can want to pay people back. Ooh, y'all like to get people back? Oh, I'm gonna get them back. Okay, tell the truth. Raise your hand. When someone hurts you, oh, journal prompt, journal prompt. What is your response or reaction when you experience hurt? Okay. What is your response or reaction when you experience hurt? As somebody in the break room that says, yeah, I'm super petty, right? Tell the truth. Shame the devil. Right? Because that's that natural instinct. Because I'm hurt, I want you to feel the same thing I'm feeling. Here's the thing, you cannot control, right? Because I got boundaries. Can you really hurt me? Okay. If y'all remember from last week's lunch break learning where we talked about was it are you at fault? Is it your fault? I think it was is it your fault? And fault was an acronym. Please go back because that one was good. Oh, it was so good. I said it about all of these, right? So when we think about that last week, I remember saying that oh gosh, I just lost my thought. I'll come back to it. But I'm reading some comments here. Someone said they agreed, right? Being super petty and I'm trying to do better. And someone says I'm working on my passionate response and my petty. Yeah, and I want you to feel like I felt. I want you to experience what I experienced. And so when I was thinking about going back to our previous conversation in lunch break, learning about fault, right? We talked about it being a forgiveness. And you got to be accountable. And then what's the end goal? So you make that person feel what you're feeling, then what? Do you feel better? Okay. Someone here, oh, the break. Let me tell y'all, if y'all not in the break room, come on now. Break room says matching of energy. Now, listen, coach, coach be having a little attitude when people say I match energy. Because why would I allow you to bring me to the box? So if I know that you have a catabolic energy, a draining, destructive, fear-based presence, right? Because you can feel, a lot of people talk about energy. I'm here to teach you about it, right? You can feel, pay attention to the way it makes you feel. So if I feel this way, why then, or if someone is bringing me catabolic energy, if someone is feeling, if they're bringing their hurt feelings towards me, why do I want to match that? So we don't match energy, we manage ours, okay? Have a mature mindset where you don't go in the box. Or again, journal prompt. When I am hurting and I want to be petty or I want to hurt someone else, then what? And how does it make you feel? Now, somewhere somebody's listening to this or watching live right now and they're like, oh, it made me feel so much better. Okay, so be mindful of the temporary solution that you're looking for or the temporary solution. And I guess can solutions be temporary? Let me get back to you. But there's such a temporary thing that happens because more than likely you're not out the box. You're going to stay in the box with your shame and with your hurt. And then you want to pull people in there? No, ma'am. We rise above. Come out to the light where you can be seen, where you can be in the truth of who God created you to be. So having unresolved hurt really create barriers in relationships because can you truly love someone that you feel has wronged you or hurt you? Okay. Can you truly love someone? And when we talk about love, because we talked about that in a previous lunch break learning, love as defined in First Corinthians. What is it? Come on, y'all. First Corinthians 13. Is that something? I know the break room gonna tell me. That the where the Bible specifically speaks of, thank you, say thank you, yes, right? First Corinthians 13, where it gives us the definition of love. And so how can you truly love someone when you have that hurt in your heart and in your mind, right? Because then that leads to anger and mistrust. And how can you create meaningful relationships? Let's be clear. When I'm talking about relationships, we're defining it by how you communicate, connect, and show up, right? Relationships are defined by how you communicate, connect, and show up. So, how can I truly love you, right? If I am having a barrier in the relationship, how we're communicating, connecting, and showing up, because it's full of hurt and it's full of shame. I want you to think about that. Okay. Our I. Our I is going to stand for insecurities. Oh, Oh, the insecurities. What Kanye say? We all insecure. I'm just the first to admit it. We all have some type of experience with feeling insecure. Show me somebody that doesn't. Bring them to me because I'm going to need them to teach the whole world. So, insecurities, this is a quote, insecurities are the lies, because y'all be lying. I be lying. We all lie. Insecurities are the lies we tell ourselves to justify why we hold back our true potential. Okay? Insecurities are the lies we tell ourselves to justify why we are holding back. And when we talk about holding back, we're talking about playing small. We're talking about not giving your full effort, your full potential, right? Thinking these things about yourself, right? That are holding you back when it's all in your thought action pattern. Thoughts create feelings, feelings create emotions, emotions create actions. What you think becomes what you do. So if I think that there is something wrong, let me say, okay, pause. When I was younger, one of the things that they teased me about so much was that I had a big forehead. Okay. All of this, all up here. I remember being in high school and there was this guy. He would literally come up to me, put the palm of his hand on my forehead, and then the other hand and like pop me in the head, be like, "What's up, forehead?" And I'm like, it just became a thing. It caused me to be so insecure about the way I wore my hair. Baby, I was gonna keep a bang. Okay. Y'all remember the bangs and the little spikies? Okay, so let me just for reference. At the time of this recording, I'm 47. Okay. So about to have this 30-year class reunion. So back then we had the little spikies. I mean, are the kids, are y'all bringing that back? Because I don't know, because my hair and everything. Anyway, so I would have the spikies that come up, or I would have some type of bang because that was something I was so insecure about. The guy, he not gonna like me because I got this big forehead, and then I would overcompensate in other areas. Okay, I might got this big forehead, but I also got this big old booty. Yes. Okay. Right. Trying to deflect what was really keeping me and holding me back and not realizing that that was not necessary for me to promote the other parts of my body or put myself out there like that simply because I was insecure about someone else's opinion of how God created me. So I'm here to tell you, Mr. They used to pop me in the forehead. It was funny back then. But baby, let me tell you all the knowledge that God had for me all stored up in here. Yes, I need this forehead. That's where all the goodness is. Okay. That's why y'all here. Lunch break learning. All of this. God had to have a place to store it. Really. So here's your journal prop. What are the things that make you feel most insecure? Okay. Ooh. Or how about this? What are some of the lies that you tell yourself that are holding you back? What are some of the lies that you tell yourself that are holding you back? And again, we're talking about true potential, right? Knowing that you have more to give, you can be more than you are. There's gifts and there's talents and there's knowledge and there's things that you want to do and places you want to go, yet some insecurities. It could be about weight. Some people, I'm too big, some I'm too small, right? It could be about height. And go back and think of when was the first time you remember these insecurities coming into play. For those of us that are parents and we have children that are raised in this era, okay, so the kids that was born like in the early 70s, like, and I mean early, like 1970, like that era, probably like 68 to 73, 74. I don't know, someone's in the water. Y'all got this like really nice aging thing that's going on. Y'all be special. And then of course, I'm a 70s baby, 77. Hey, we're a little different, right? We was off the chain. I think we were the first ones that came through to kind of defy, like, what is going on here? Like, we were the first ones to kind of start pushing back on parents. And then, of course, we got the millennials. Or is there someone else in between there? I can't remember. But then these new kids here, I think it was in the formula. Okay. But in saying that, we have to monitor them, and we need to watch them because the insecurities are running so far and so deep. And part of those insecurities are coming from things that you have embedded in them about them not being good enough. Okay, that may have been a commercial break. Had to throw that in there. So be mindful of how you are showing up and how you're treating yourself and the lies that you're telling yourself and how they could be impacting those with whom you are serving or that you're responsible for, whether it be in any type of relationship that you may have with other people. Okay. So again, looking at these signs of insecurities, comparing. She has this, I don't. He can do this, I can't, right? Comparing what you have and who you are to someone else. And like the word be saying on somebody scripture, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. So when you're full of your shit, you don't have the capacity to receive joy or to experience joy. Okay. Insecurities, you have that fear of rejection and that, again, not being good enough, like there's something wrong with you. And those are lies. There's nothing wrong with you. We have to teach people how to treat us. And when we're full of shit, right? The shame and the hurt and the insecurities, then we get stuck into this place where we begin to self-sabotage. And this is where the anxiety and the true inability to really engage and show up, and we play small and we sit back and we overthink and we procrastinate and we replay things over and over in our mind to see if it's the right thing, the wrong thing, should I, shouldn't I, would I, won't I, like all of these things. Again, you're in the box. It's dark. You don't have access to the higher levels of thinking or the higher levels of opportunities and perspectives that will allow you to make conscious and clear choices. Remember, confused minds can't make choices. So when you're in the box and you're full of shit, this is why you feel stuck. This is why you feel confused. This is why you find yourself repeating bad behavior, right? You begin to do things that are sabotaging yourself. And in some sorts, it's a way to self-medicate because of the shit that you are experiencing. Okay. So let's talk about our last one. Our last one is T. It's going to be truth. Okay. Truth. I like to say that truth is where your heart and your mind meet to be in the will of God. Okay. Truth is where your heart and your mind meet to be in the will of God. And so when I say that you are full of shit, and I'm talking about your shame and your hurt and your insecurities, you are full of truth. This is how God created you. Yet we can't access that truth because of all the other shit that's in the way. Or I guess all the other shit. Does that count? I don't know. So truth, again, being in alignment with your most authentic self. And we use this word authentic, and people say, I want to be authentic. I want to be authentic. Authentic comes with liability. Are you willing to pay what it costs to be authentic? And see, the truth won't change just because you don't want to explore it or you don't want to face it. You can ignore it. You can sweep it under the rug. You can step over it. You can dress it up for the gram. You can hashtag yourself and doing everything else. You can understand the assignment. You can be happy and joyful. You can do relationship goals. You can do all of these different things. The truth will not change. And until you are willing to clean up that shit, right? To get to the truth of who you were created to be, then you will continue to be stuck in these pattern of thinkings and way of doings that reflects the same thing happening. You do the same thing, you have the same outcome. And what we've learned to do is to live with this shit. Again, we dress it up, we put red lipstick on it. And glasses, we do all of these other things so that we can kind of get people off of our trail, right? But in the great words of our philosophers, outcasts, y'all know them, the great philosophers. Come on now. They say, and I quote, I know you like to think your shit don't stink. And lean a little bit closer and see roses. Come on, roses. Yes. Really smell. Yes. They smell. So what we do is, again, we put up this facade like we got everything all together, like things don't really bother us, like we can sweep things on the road. You're going to trip over that shit. Because there's the truth. You've slept with that shit. Then, now, probably again, right? You wake up with that shit again. You dress that shit up. You dress that shit down. You sleep about that shit. That shit wakes you up at 2 a.m. That shit is with you. Some of y'all married that shit. Mhm. You're dating that shit. You go to work for that shit. You work with that shit. Like, it is such a part of us that we don't recognize. And there are very few people who are without that shit. Okay. Now, the process is learning how to identify what that shit is, being able to clean some of it up. So again, you have the capacities, and that's part of the problem. Y'all are asking for things you don't have the capacity to receive. You want more, yet you haven't done what God has called you to do with less because you're full of shit. Now, somewhere, maybe, maybe not. This could be my own judgment. Now, how is she talking about God and shit in the same sentence? Listen, I'm just telling you, the man dropped it into my spirit. And I've been teaching it over the past 8, 9 years, I would say. And yeah, God ain't told me to stop yet. So as a matter of fact, I have clients that have gone through this process because I will look at them and I will say, you are full of shit. And we got to clean that shit up. And so we go through that process and we really identify these places of shame, hurt, insecurities, and then we tell ourselves the truth. Okay. So here's the journal prompt. If you could access your truth, what would you learn? If you had access to your truth, what would you learn? And let's extend that. What would you learn about you? So we have a choice in this thing. And again, it's not that it will go away and that you'll be free from the shit, because shit's always going to be with you, because there are triggers, there are things that happen, the experiences that happen that brings the shit back to mind. And again, the shit can show up in a person, right? Person, place, or thing. We must be able to identify how we are showing up, who we say we are, or are you talking about the same old shit? Hmm. Oh, the break room. I'm hearing preach. I'm seeing ouch. Someone says BRB, right? Be right back when I get my shit together. Yes. Okay, but that makes me think. So what are you doing? When we talk about getting our shit, what are we doing? What are we doing? So you have to lay that shit out and really face some truths about yourself. So some things that are true, right? Some things that can change about yourself that you may not want to. See, when people say, I don't know, sometimes it's not that you don't know, you're more afraid of what you'll find out. Come on, somebody. Okay, hold on. Grab your water. Let me take a sip. Mm-hmm. 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 See, it's not that you don't know, it is more that you are afraid of what you'll find out. Because now I got all my shit together, right? Whatever that means. And what happens is, if I have to explore the truth, if I really have to lay that shit out and look at it, look at the shame, look at the hurt, look at the insecurities, and look at the truth and really lay all of that shit out, that means I'll have to change. I have to do something different. And I've already mastered who I am or who I think I am. I've mastered this. I've taught people how to treat me. I've taught myself how to do this, right? I can hide my shit and no one will ever know. So I don't want to clean it up, because that then means that I will expose some truths about myself. And what will you, whoever you may be, they, you, they, them, he, she, what they gonna do with my truth? So if you truly want to get clear on the shit that you're stuck in and get unstuck and be accountable for when you see that shit show up, then you've got to, number one, acknowledge and accept. Okay. What Ayana say? You can't heal what you don't reveal. Yes. She is definitely, like, I channel her a lot. I love her. Okay. But truly, if you don't reveal the shit, then you can't clean it up. Now, if this is the life that you love, like if you have mastered this and this is how you want to move forward, then you go right ahead. But otherwise, the next thing after you acknowledge and accept, then you must begin to practice some self compassion. Or as I really like to say is extend yourself grace, right? Sometimes the shit show up and you like, wait, how you get here? I didn't invite you here. So be kind to yourself when you recognize the shit, right? That shame and that hurt and those insecurities and the truth. And then have the courage, which you already have the courage, is probably stuck in your shit somewhere. Go grab your courage and then identify where the shit started. And above all, seek some support. Okay. See, some people are living with an outdated BS. When I talk about BS, I'm talking about belief system. And I'll wrap it up with this. Belief system is, by definition, a group of habitual thoughts that you place your trust and confidence in. And then you use the feeling to determine what's good, bad, right, or wrong. Your belief system, which we all have them, your belief system is a group of habitual thoughts, thinking habitual, the habit of thinking a certain way, right? A group of, is that what we're talking about next week? Are we talking about habits next week? Let me get back to you. No, we're talking about facts next week. Oh, I got something on habits. Somebody write me a note and say, talk about habits. Okay, thank y'all. The group of habitual thoughts, right? Having a habit of talking about or having a habit of thinking a certain way. So your habitual thoughts that you place your trust and confidence in, and then you use the feeling to determine what's good, bad, right, or wrong. And so this process of seeking help, whether it be me or another professional that can then diagnose you if you do have any challenges with mental like imbalances in terms of depression and anxiety. Like we just give ourselves these words because it's not saying that it's not true or you don't have it. It is at minimum seek some support and some professional help to help you not get over. You got to go through it. And as you're going through, you clean up that shit and you will have more access to the things that you think you don't have, the things you think you need, you already have. The things you want, they're available for you, but you are stuck in your shit. And until you clean that up, you won't have the capacity to move forward and receive the blessings and the life and the relationships that God has already created you for in the bedroom, in the boardroom, and everywhere in between. Okay? Okay. So, if you do feel so inclined, please, with me, take a deep breath in and let it out. Let's take a deep breath in and let it out. And one more deep breath in and let it out. Your final homework assignment, make you a shit list. I've done it myself. Saved right here on the laptop. Make a shit list. Go back and make a list of all of the things that you feel shame, the things you feel hurt, or the people you feel hurt by, the insecurities that you may experience, again, for as far back as you can remember, and then some truth. And if you are looking like, well, I don't know any truths about me, be mindful, right? Go to the word. God has already told you who you are, who he created you to be, and have the courage to do what's required of you to receive the life or to have the life and the relationships that you desire. So I want to thank you all again for joining me for this week's episode of Lunch Break Learning with Coach Shaquan. As always, if you are listening to the recording, please leave a comment. Anybody, leave a comment, share, right? Like, follow, all of those good things. If you're here on Instagram, we're going to end this now. And again, here's the recording. What do I want to say, y'all? What do I always say? Ooh, how about this? Drink your water and remember to extend yourself grace. We will see you next time. Thank you for joining.